arms for this one. You're going to go to 90 degrees, full extension of elbow and wrist, maximum external rotation. Your palms, you're pressing toward the ceiling. Chin is tucked in. Crown of the head is pushing away from your body. With your eyes, you're looking down between your thighs to put the dura mater under tension. And then hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Steven here with Team Euphoric, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to be your own therapist by demonstrating the top 5 ELDOA exercises for scapular winging. And once again, I would like to quickly recap what exactly scapular winging is before I get into the exercises. And in order to do that, I need the help of my good friend, Johnny Bone. So Johnny, get over here and turn your big, beautiful, bony butt toward the camera. This right over here is your scapula or your shoulder blade muscle, and when you get a winged scapula, it could present in many ways, but most commonly what you're going to see is a lateral tilt of the scapula, which is when the medial border is going to move away from the rib cage. It's also going to present with an anterior tilt, meaning the inferior angle of the scapula is going to move away from the rib cage. And in order to correct a winged scapula, one of the things that we could do is strengthen the muscles that medially tilt the scapula and that posteriorly tilt the scapula. I'm going to include a link right up over here on last week's video where we did the top 5 strengthening exercises for scapular winging. But the exercises, we're going to be strengthening the serratus anterior, the rhomboid major and minor, the middle trapezius, the lower trapezius, and also the latissimus dorsi muscle. Another thing that we could do to complement those exercises is do some myofascial stretching exercise for the muscles that laterally tilt the scapula and that posteriorly tilt the scapula. Those I'm going to include a link right up over here. Last week's video was the top 5 myofascial stretching exercises for scapular winging, and it was for the pec minor, the levator scapulae, the coracobrachialis, the biceps brachii, and the triceps brachii muscles. Now, one of the other things that we could do, let's say that we've done the strengthening exercise and we've done the myofascial stretching, and you're still not getting the results that you want to see. Well, one of the things that could be going on is the reason you could have scapular winging, it could be neurological. If you have issues with any of the nerve roots that supply the blood flow and oxygen to any of the muscles that we listed, then that is going to cause some scapular winging. With regard to those muscles, the muscles that are responsible for medially tilting the scapula and posteriorly tilting the scapula, again, the serratus anterior, that is innervated by the nerve roots of C5, C6, and C7. The rhomboid major and minor, those are innervated by the nerve roots of C4 and C5. Then the middle trapezius is innervated by the nerve roots of C3, C4, the lower trapezius by the nerve roots of C3, C4 as well. And then lastly, we have the latissimus dorsi muscle, which is innervated by the C6, C7, and C8 nerve roots. So if you have any dysfunction with the nerve roots between the C3 all the way down to the C8, this can cause dysfunction in those muscles. So what we would want to do is some ELDOA exercises to help end up releasing some of the pressure in there and improve the nerve function between the C3 to the C8 nerve roots. So what we want to do is the ELDOA exercises for the C7, T1, C7, C6, C7, C5, C6, C4, C5, and C3, C4. That's what we're going to be demonstrating for you right now. And without further ado, here are the ELDOA exercises. One of the things with regard to all of the ELDOA exercises that I'm going to be demonstrating for you is, with the exception of the head position and the arm position, the setup is exactly the same for all of them. So I want to try and get through these as quickly as possible. That way you don't have to sit through a 20-minute video. But the number one ELDOA exercise for scapular winging is going to be for the C7T1. For the C7T1 and for all of the ELDOA exercises, you're going to be laying down on your back. And in terms of the setup position, once you are on your back, you want to flex your hips and knees so that your sacrum lifts up off the ground. If your sacrum is still touching, then you haven't flexed them enough. The reason that you want to get your sacrum up off the ground is because when you flex your hips and knees and your sacrum lifts, we're going to be able to release some of the tension on the abdominals. We don't want to be flexing the abs while we're doing these ELDOA exercises. So you're flexing your hips and knees until your sacrum lifts up off the ground. And then in terms of everything else, you're flattening out your spine. At the ankles, you want to dorsiflex your ankles, so you're going to point your toes toward your head, and then you are going to evert your ankles by pointing the soles of your feet away from each other. From here, what we want to do is we're going to keep our chin tucked in, our eyes, we're looking down between our thighs to put the dura mater under tension, and the crown of our head, we're pushing away from our body. Now here's where we start to get a little bit different with all of them. For the C7T1 ELDOA, in terms of the hand position, what we want to do is our arms, we want to abduct our arms to the level just above the glenohumeral angle. If you don't know where that is, when your arms are fully extended, your hands should be roughly level at the forehead or slightly higher. And if you're still not 100% positive, if you go to 135 degrees of abduction, that's abduction, then you're going to be roughly at that level. So we're going to abduct our arms to 135 degrees. We're going to go into maximum extension of the elbows and wrists, maximum external rotation. Then with the palms, we are pressing away from our body. So imagine that somebody is pulling on your arms, only nobody's pulling. You are just pushing it in that direction. Then in terms of what our head is doing, again, eyes are looking down at the floor to put the dura mater under tension. Our chin is tucked in, crown of the head is pushing away, and then we want to lift our head 1 millimeter away from the ground. So just enough that you could slide a piece of paper. You don't want to lift it too high. But this is going to be the position for the C7 T1 ELDOA. Next, the second ELDOA exercise for scapular winging is going to be for the C6 C7 ELDOA. Everything is exactly the same. Flex the hips and knees so that the sacrum lifts off the ground. We're dorsiflexing our ankles. We are pointing the soles of our ankles away by everting our ankles. And then for this one right over here, what we want to do is instead of having the arms up, we want to bring the arms down below the level of the glenohumeral angle. So you are going to adduct your arms and bring them as close to your body as you can until you are restricted by your latissimus dorsi muscle. So tuck them in. You're going to push your palms away from your body. For this one right over here, everything is the same. Chin tucked in, crown of the head you're pushing away. Eyes are looking down between the thighs to put the dura mater under tension. And for this one, instead of 1 millimeter, you want to have a 1 centimeter gap between your head and the ground. 1 centimeter is roughly going to be the width of one fingertip. So you're going to take one fingertip, make sure that that's the distance, and then you are maintaining this position for 1 minute. Next, the third ELDOA exercise for scapular winging is going to be for the C5 C6 ELDOA. For the C5 C6 ELDOA, we're flexing the hips and knees until the sacrum lifts off the ground. We're dorsiflexing by pointing the toes toward our head, everting the ankles by pushing the soles of the feet away from our body, and then we're maintaining a flat spine, chin tucked in, pushing the crown of the head out. Eyes are looking down between our thighs to put the dura mater under tension. For this one, our arms, extension of elbows and wrists, maximum external rotation, and then we want to flex our shoulders to 135 degrees. So we're going to raise right up over there, and then with our head, we are going to lift our head again until we are 1 centimeter off the ground. 1 centimeter is going to be 1 fingertip off the ground, and that is for the C5 C6 ELDOA. Next, the fourth exercise, the fourth ELDOA exercise for scapular winging is going to be the C4 C5 ELDOA. For the C4 C5 ELDOA, everything's the same. We are flexing our hips and knees until our sacrum lifts up off the ground, spine is flat. We're going to dorsiflex our ankles, evert our ankles. Our arms for this one, you're going to go to 90 degrees, full extension of elbow and wrist, maximum external rotation. Your palms, you're pressing toward the ceiling. Chin is tucked in, crown of the head is pushing away from your body. With your eyes, you're looking down between your thighs to put the dura mater under tension. And then for this one right over here, we want to lift our head 2 centimeters off the ground. 2 centimeters is going to be roughly the width of 2 fingertips. So you can place 2 fingertips behind your head. And then this right over here is the C4 C5 ELDOA, and this right over here is going to really help improve the blood flow in that area toward the upper cervical spine. And then the fifth and final ELDOA exercise for scapular winging is going to be for the C3 C4 ELDOA. This one right over here, very, very similar to the last two, just a change in the arm position. What we want to do, flex the hips and knees until our sacrum lifts up off the ground. Then we're going to dorsiflex our ankles. We are going to evert our ankles. What we want to do is flex the shoulders, go into maximum extension of elbows and wrists, maximum external rotation of the shoulders. And for this one, we are going to flex our shoulders to 45 degrees. In terms of the head positioning, our chin is tucked in, crown of the head is pushing away from our body, our eyes are looking down between the thighs to put the dura mater under tension. And then for this one, we want to lift our head 2 centimeters off the ground, or roughly the width of 2 fingertips. So this right over here is going to be the final position, and with your palms, you're pushing away from your body. You want to maintain that for 1 minute, as with all of the ELDOA exercises. But those right there were the top 5 ELDOA exercises for scapular winging. And there you have it. Those were the top 5 ELDOA exercises for scapular winging. Go ahead and give those ELDOA exercises a try. In terms of how much you want to do them for, every single one you want to do them for 1 minute once you get into the final posture. And because we are trying to elicit a postural change, you can do them every single day. This isn't something that you want to do just once a week or once a month, because if you don't do it on a regular basis, you're not going to see the results that you want to see. Because again, a winged scapula, whenever we get some type of postural dysfunction, you can't correct it by doing something once a week or once a month. month. You want to do the exercise continually because we want to accumulate enough time under tension to be able to elicit a postural change. So every single day, you could do your strengthening exercises, 3 sets of 50 repetitions. You could do your myofascial stretching exercises, 3 sets of 30 seconds on each side. And then you could finish off with the ELDOA exercises, which you are going to do for 1 minute each. But that is pretty much it for all of the different exercises for scapular winging. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and ask them down in the comment section. And if you've given them a try, go ahead and share your thoughts in the comment section. I would love to know how exactly it's been working for you, but that's pretty much it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to smash that like button so I know to keep making these types of videos in the future. And if you're either new to the channel or haven't subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, as I will be uploading new videos every single day. That's it for today's video. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you again tomorrow.